Hi, this is John from Two Doves Bees and Gardens. I want to welcome you to my bee yard. Hey, good afternoon. This is John. Just going to do an inspection of the swarm that we had picked up, you might remember, from the flower pot. We're going to see how they're doing today. This is Mother's Day 2020, and I've got other things on my schedule for today, but I needed to get out here to the bee yard to do some checking. So we're going to open them up and see what we've got going. This is just a pull ratchet strap that I've got set on here. I got a couple of these from a friend of mine, and they're not the best. They're not really a ratchet strap. It's just as much tension as you can pull on them, and but they work. They work for what I need them to do. I like to open them up a little bit further just so I can get them out of the way while I'm working here. You might see that I've got these grills closed up a little bit with this, basically it's a robbing screen. And come on the back side over here. I don't know if you'll be able to see me in the shot or not, but we're going to open them up and see what we've got going in here. You can see on the bottom side of the lid, there's some bees in here, and they're doing their thing. We're just going to set this down next to the hive so that the girls want to move around, they can do so. I don't expect to see a lot of comb being drawn in here yet. Mostly I'm looking for queen activity. Seeing an empty frame with some bees on it. But mostly looking to see what the queen is up to. If she's in here and she's laying. And if we got queen or eggs and larva. See another empty frame there. I'm not going to even pull this one out. It's also empty. The queen is definitely going to be towards the middle. And there, I can see inside that this is where they're huddled. I can see some new drawn comb already, and I'll pull this one out so you can kind of see what I'm seeing. So this is the first step on a new hive, is getting them to draw some comb. This is all filled with a little bit of pollen and some nectar, so not really helpful for growing the colony out, but you can see there are a fair number of bees on this frame. Let me check on the other side here. Again, it's all nectar and no eggs, no larvae, and this is got some weight to it already. We have just started our nectar flow, so I'm hoping that maybe we'll find some queen activity on the next frame. So I'm going to go ahead and put this one back, and I always try to be very gentle when I'm working with the bees. I think they appreciate it, and I get fewer stings. Also, this is a foundationless frame in here, and they're drawing all of this comb on their own, and you can see this is kind of like a barrel of monkeys. They are hanging together there. I've heard some discussion about that's how they measure the space for drawing comb. And again, I'm just trying to be very gentle. This is fresh, brand new comb, and it's not completely attached yet. And you see a little bit of pollen, some nectar. This frame is not nearly as heavy with nectar as the previous frame was. And again, I'm looking for the queen, or at least some remnants of what the queen might be doing, if she's in fact in here, which they're still here and active, so I don't have any reason to believe why she wouldn't be in here. I'm just trying to hold this up to the light to get a view into the cells. And I'm not really seeing any evidence of a queen yet. I'm not seeing eggs or larvae. Oh yeah, I do. There's some eggs in here. So these girls have a long ways to go before we're going to get any honey out of them. Let's go ahead and look at the next frame. I'm going to gently lower these girls in. And they're continuing to draw that frame out. There's a lot of bees on this next frame, and so I'm hopeful to find the queen or some queen activity, or at least see some eggs and larvae. This side you're looking at has very few, they're still drawing comb on this one, but the other side has quite a few bees, and they've drawn this out quite a bit. And again, just looking for the queen or evidence of the queen. Sometimes I give them a little blow, just gently blow on them to get them to move so I can see into the cells. Yeah, let me see here. I think I'm seeing some eggs here in the middle. Oh yeah, definitely some eggs in here. Queen or honeybee eggs, when the queen lays them, are very tiny. They look like little tiny grains of rice in the bottoms of the cells, and she's in here, and she's laid some eggs in here. I'm just trying to make sure that there's actually only one per cell. If you have more than one, you have to start thinking about potentially looking for a laying worker, which would be just a worker bee that has started laying eggs, and they can only lay drones. They can't build new workers. And I believe I'm only seeing one egg per cell. Again, they're really hard to see. And these nurses really don't want to move around too much, so sometimes you have to kind of get them convinced to move a little bit. And there's a good chance that the queen is actually on this frame. I haven't seen her yet, but we may actually give them some drawn comb from another hive, just to kind of help give them a head start, a boost. So I'm pretty happy with what I'm seeing. We're going to need to give them some more time, and we will see what they do with that time. In the meantime, I'm going to see if I can find some drawn comb, which will give them a nice little head start. If you can see into this, you might see that there is a frame feeder in here, which gives them food and allows them to helps them to build more comb. They need to draw a lot of comb in their first year, and this is mostly empty on the other side. It's got some, they're starting to draw some comb all down through here, and it's filled with nectar. Okay, I'm back with you. I've got some drawn comb from a hive that had an unfortunate accident, let's call it that. They did not make it. So these girls are going to be the beneficiary of some drawn comb. Here's a frame of drawn comb. We're going to go ahead and give this to them. And again, this will give them a nice head start to building out this colony. And I'm going to give them 2 frames of it, and I'm actually adding it right next to the brood, potential brood. We've seen eggs and larvae, and normally you would not want to, what they say, break your brood nest, and there's good reason for that. In this case, I'm just taking empty frames, and we're going to give them some drawn comb and see what they can do with it. So the next time we check on these girls, there's a good chance that they're going to have cleaned this comb up, and the queen may actually have started taking advantage of the space, instant space that we're giving her. And since I'm not seeing any larvae yet, just eggs, it could be that this colony had a virgin queen. This swarm had a virgin queen when we got them, and she has just now gotten back from her mating flight within the past few days. I could maybe fit in another frame in here, which I may try to do. It's an awfully tight fit with this frame feeder in here. But let's see what we can do. I just slowly slide these frames over. Okay, now we've got a third drawn comb, and we're going to go ahead and put that into this hive, and this should really give them a good bump in resources. And unfortunately, this comb is not in the best shape. That means these girls are going to have a little bit of work to do to be able to use this comb. But you know, having it, that's less work that they need to do, and actually drawing it. So it's a mixed blessing for them, having to draw comb versus cleaning comb, and we're going to see how they do with actually cleaning the comb versus actually having to draw it. Again, I'm just knocking the bees off of this frame. You can see these are just empty frames, And like I said, this is going to be a tight fit here, but we're going to see what we can do. There we go. So they've got all the resources that I can give them for now, which should give them a good head start. So for now, that's it. We're going to button these girls up and leave them alone, and we'll check on them again here, probably about a week. I'm going to try and do weekly updates. Again, this is part of our series from swarm capture to honey production. And this is John from Two Doves, and we'll come back again and we'll see these girls in about a week. So that's it for now.